Hey, it's the Nerdy Sports Fan. We're talking essentially what the off-season needs for every team are. And we're into the AFC South. We did the Colts already, so getting into the Jaguars now. All right, so, excuse me. $63 million in cap space is a good amount. It really is. But it's not the strongest position that you can have for this team. Unfortunately, you didn't answer the quarterback question last year. In fact, you just expanded the question. So, is Nick Foles the guy? I don't know. He barely played. Is Minshew the guy? I don't know. He was a rookie. There's not much to go off of. Minshew was able to create an energy for the team that they really rallied around. They put Foles in there as soon as he was healthy. He might not have been able to really go at the speed he wanted to immediately. That's a possibility. But you lost momentum. The Jags weren't good in the first few games of Foles coming back from injury. And they lost momentum. Minshew went back in. It didn't really work out. They just, did they muddy the water with the quarterback conversation last year. It just doesn't make much sense at all to me. And I'm sure it makes far less sense to the front office. They have to make a decision. And nobody wants to be going into this position again next season. Nobody. Okay? You have an off season to decide if Foles is the dude or if Minshew is the dude. You have this off season, and it better be early in the off season. Okay? If it's not early, and you're telling me it's a positional battle that goes through the preseason, they're not getting the reps. They're not getting the reps that they need in order to create the kind of chemistry they need with certain players to really affect what things are going to happen on Sundays. So much of what happens on Sunday is just rapport developed between the quarterback and the receivers over time. They know where the other one's going with things. They know what the other one's thinking in certain situations because they have the time to develop that rapport and fully understand how the other man thinks. So when you have a quarterback battle, and as a Bills fan, I've seen a bunch of these, you don't get to develop that rapport. You don't get to develop that intimate knowledge of the other dude, knowing what they're going to do in the exact same situation that you're seeing. And so much of it is being able to read a defense. I get it. Okay, if the other guy can't read the defense and you do, you don't see the same thing, you're on different pages. But a quarterback can nip that in the bud. When they find that situation in practice, they say, hey, I don't care what you think you see there. I want you to go in this direction in this situation. And over time, people like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning famously develop receivers into what they want them to be. Certain players are far more talented and better at reading on their own, so it's easier to develop a chemistry when both players are very good at what they do. But it can be developed in other cases. You just need time. Time is not on their side. Right? They're cutting their reps in half when they have these kinds of battles. Hope, Jaguars country, that the conversation of Foles v. Minshew is a quick one that gets settled early, because you're not giving yourself much of a chance if that's not settled early. Now, moving on. I have a couple of points that I always want to discuss when we talk Jaguars football. Will the team move to London? That's a possibility. NFL does not shy away from wanting a toehold in Europe. And the Jaguars are probably one of the easier teams to move. Sorry, Jaguars fans, that is the case. So I think about this every offseason. Again, Bills fan, I commiserate. They were talking about moving to Canada forever, and I just wanted to shoot the TV every time I saw that. So I'm sorry for mentioning it. But other pressing questions. Is Gardner Minshew actually Florida man? Personally, I vote yes. I just have this image of him wrestling a gator before he goes into the stadium, and it puts a smile on my face. I just love how genuine this guy is, and I hope they land on Minshew as their quarterback. I really do. I think he is just perfectly suited for this role, for this team. And if there was ever a personality match for a team, you have to go with it. You really do. It's an energy, it's a vibe, whatever the hell you want to call it. Just, you will get a particular kind of momentum behind your team that you can't describe in X's and O's. And you can't put a value on numerically. But it's there. People feel it. They see it. There is an energy to that man, and he fits this team so well. And yes, I call it Florida man because it is, okay? The guy shows up in jean shorts and, tight t-shirts and flashy freaking Miami Vice suits. It's ridiculous. The mustache, it's fantastic. I love it. I need to see more of it on television, okay? I need to see Burt Reynolds in his fucking prime on TV, okay? That's what I want. I want people to just be unashamed to be themselves, even if it's not what's really popular. And that's what I see out of Minshew. I love it. I want to see more of it. Gardner for quarterback. So how can you get talent on this team is a big question. A lot of them end up moving. They leave, okay? Until players buy into your philosophy, you can't really con people into staying in an area that doesn't really have a draw on its own outside of the team. Now, I know that can be hard to hear sometimes, but again, Bills fans, so I get it. The Bills created a culture, and that seems to be working for them right now. I hope it works for them long term, but you need that for the Jaguars as well. And there was a lot of talk about doing that, and then Tom Coughlin gets fired because, he's Tom Coughlin, okay? He's from a different era. The guy's an asshole, okay? He just wants things his way all the damn time, and, that's going to create HR issues in modern workplace environments. So, yeah, I saw the writing on the wall with that one, okay? Certain people can get away with it because they just don't stop fucking winning. Belichick. You can be a shithead if you have the clout. Did Coughlin have some clout coming in? Abso-fucking-lutely, okay? The man's the only dude to beat Belichick twice in the Super Bowl, okay? That's saying something. But that clout's only going to take you so far. You got to win with this organization, not the Giants. And he hasn't. And at a certain point, you run out of slack. Okay? You just got to put up or shut up. And they hadn't been putting up the past few years. So, dude had to go. All right. Reset button smashed. What do you do to create a culture to make it so your talented players don't want to leave? Because Jalen Ramsey ran out of there as fast as he possibly fucking could. And you're losing a strong defensive lineman this year, okay? Free agency's not going to be kind to you. Now you have $60 some odd million to spend. You got to fill those two holes. Plus, make the team generally better. Not the greatest budget for that. Just saying, especially when you don't know who your quarterback is. So I don't really have the greatest outlook for this team for this season. I don't see a path to winning the division this year. I see a path to possibly creating an offensive and defensive identity, recapturing the identity that they had from a couple seasons ago when they were in the playoffs and beat Buffalo and beat Pittsburgh, got into the AFC title game. Yeah, that was an identity that a lot of people envied. Okay, you know, Bortles leaves. Weird how that was a negative. You've lost some talent from that roster, and you know you got to get that mojo back. All right, there's hope on the horizon. Again, I don't see winning the division next season. I don't, but there's hope, and just cling on to that. Cling on to it, and hope that Florida man rescues this team, because I believe in Gardner Minshew, and I think that he's got what it takes up here and in here to lead an NFL team. Now we just got to see if he's got the tools in the toolbox to get it done on the field. So it's going to be an interesting season. It's going to be an interesting off season. I don't think that's going to translate to wins, but we'll see. Let me know what you think, guys. Okay? Jaguars fans, I want to know. Who do you think you're going to draft? Who do you think they should go after in free agency? What do you think needs to be fixed in order to make Jacksonville a destination for NFL free agents? Like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Hit up my other videos because I make one of these for every single team. Thanks, guys.